What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about this debut solo record from Alan Epley entitled Everything. He released that on January 6th. I'm really stoked to talk about this guy. He is someone that I discovered over the weekend. He's brand new to me. And so I hope that you share the enthusiasm that I have for this record and for this guy. And he's kind of hard to find information on as well. So if you're familiar with Alan, if you're familiar with Shiner or The Life and Times, his other two bands, please post some links, share some information. If you could even set up an interview, if you're Alan himself and you see this, you seem like a really interesting cat. I love your music stylistically, but when you read interviews with the guy, there's a couple that are out there. I mean, his drive, his work ethic, everything that he has on his plate that he's handling is I dig his drive. I dig the humbleness with which he presents that drive. He makes it sound like a normal thing that to be an indie musician that you have two jobs. I mean, the guy is like he two daytime jobs. He's got a family, this career. He's got a podcast. I mean, he's a monster. I really admire all the work that he puts, into everything that he does. I mean, really, truly phenomenal. As far as the style of this record and Shiner, I haven't had a chance to listen to his other projects. Shiner, from what I've read, seems more kind of like a post punk outfit, so I'm excited about that. The Life and Times a little more mellow. I was looking at bands, Appleseed Cast, Pinback, bands that I really enjoy, especially Pinback. Kind of surprised that I hadn't heard of Alan up to this point. But you listen to everything, and I feel a drive of like Beck when he's feeling mellow. Think of Sea Change. Or Elliott Smith is another person that comes to mind. Pete Yorn. And then there's, stylistically, there's some other alternative rock bands. I could not help but think of a band, Granddaddy. If you're familiar with them, great outfit, a little quirky, but it's more about the atmospherics. I think the guitar work and the way this compositions come together on this record, really just from start to finish, 9 tracks, the just the slow burn, the feel of this record. It's great to chill to. Really takes you to just a great headspace, great atmospherics on this thing. And I will say that my one criticism, structurally the songs, there's not, a whole lot of adventure here. Everything seems, structurally pretty much kind of following the same path, but the melodies are amazing. This is an example of someone who's just writing really good music, not trying to overthink it and do too much, and excelling in that regard. I think that that's really what makes this album just so exceptional. It's really really good, but it's also not trying to do too much. Moments where there's really some brilliant minimalism on this record too, balanced with songs that have a lot of layers, have a lot of textures. So I appreciate that balance there, the dynamic in the record. Just such a fun experience. I'm really pumped about this record. It kicks off with Thousand Yard Stare, breezy acoustic drive in this song to open up, develops this great soundscape that really does set the tone for what you're going to get for the rest of this record. I love the guitars and just the way that the music drifts along on this song. Great way to lead into Evangeline, your second track. I love the drum intro on this thing, the way it develops the drive of the song. Dark, moody feel with really just I like the minimalism on this song. There's a great riff, and then when the chorus hits, it fills out, and just great dynamic there. The contrast in the song, one of my favorites for that reason. Spider Rico is your third track. Opening guitar is simple and stunning. I love the tone on this thing. The drums and bass enter at the perfect time. I like the slow burn of the song, the pace, and this is where I was really feeling that mellow Beck vibe on this record as well. The EMT is your fourth track, big driving drums. It like really just it takes on more of an Americana feel, and I like the change of pace at this point in the record, especially with the slide guitar at work. And there's some really nice moments with that instrumentation on this album as well. But that's a great track that leads into your title track, Everything. Minimal acoustic track, gorgeous string arrangement. The influence sounded kind of like a Japanese symphony. It definitely sounded like it had an Eastern influence driving it. Just stunning to listen to. And really, with the minimalism in that track, the highlight of that whole composition for sure. Deader Than Dead is your sixth track. It's going to take us back to that more of that alternative style feel that's driving the majority of this record. But shoegazy atmospherics on this song. It's a nice way to pull out of everything, but not too different. There, still maintaining this good mellow feel. All Good Things, your seventh track. I dig the light rolling guitar to open up this thing. Solid slow build in the instrumentation. Pulls back and then continues to build in, and it's probably my favorite song. I really like the contrast between the verses and the choruses on this thing. I'm the One is your eighth and penultimate track, chill acoustic love song. This is a track where a guy like Pete Yorn is another guy that I think of when I listen to this record and when I think of Alan with my limited knowledge of him. But Music for the Morning After, if you're not familiar with that record, great album. And I'm the One definitely reminded me a lot of what Pete Yorn was doing on that record. And then The Lucid Dream is your final track, acoustic open with this just gorgeous dark slide guitar. I would say that as much as I like a couple other songs that I mentioned, this is probably my favorite. Great album closer. His voice is stunning. Like the melodies vocally on this song are great. Lyrically, probably the best lyrics he's throwing down. He's an insightful guy. This is a record that navigates some dark territory being developed through COVID, but he's a poetic man, and he handles, gosh, I love his songwriting, the lyrics and the way that he handles issues, whether they're personal, whether they're kind of big scope open ended type of things. He's got a great perspective, and I like that idea of following along to a record with the lyrics, especially with a guy like Alan. I feel that active listen, really being engaged with the record that first time, is important. There's a lot of stuff that I think you can just throw on passively for the first time, just kind of chill and let it sink in a little bit before you take that. But I would throw the headphones on and just go right to work with the lyrics on this thing, because it's just a wonderful piece of work. We're definitely going to vinyl please it. Great discovery here. And again, if you know anything about Alan, any of the other projects that he is a part of, the Shiner or the Life and Time, or should say Shiner and the Life and Times, please feel free to share that information. We're going to vinyl please this thing. Hope you find this review helpful and hope you enjoy listening to this album. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help Keith, MB, and I blow this project up in 2023. And stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. Also, tune in to the live show on Tuesday nights for more insight on those album reviews. We'll be doing that Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, we'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.